Well, we see it from right here. We have to, like, I walk over and look at it. I mean, we could pin it there, but then what's gonna happen is depending on what's on the outside, it's not gonna switch it. So. Check, check. Robin, can you hear us? Ground control to Major Tom. Good. We are live, everyone. So if you want to do a flash mob right now, so then I just yeah, actually. Where are those up here?
This right here, the rocker.
Yep, gotcha. Right. It tightens. Look. And then these things too, I loosen these up. So you have a little bit of play. I know that's going out live, but it's
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe not that much, because if you let it go, it'll do one of these on you.
I'll be mindful of it.
Yeah. But most of the time, so the board president is actually, she'll start it off and then do the pledge, and then I just widen out and show everything.
But you're trying to get focused for most of it, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the time. But the thing is, right now, everyone it's that sensitive with the microphones right underneath.
Sure.
Yeah. So you almost have to be really quiet. So, I'm just going to test the things out again. Mic check, 1, 2. Podium mic.
Good. How you doing? Good.
Microphone 6, siblings.
Hi. Good. How are you?
5, 5. 4. 3, 3, 3. 2, 2, 2. Uno. Check. Congratulations. Good for you. Happy for you.
Something good? Oh, yeah. No, I'll let you. I'll do my former file. Are you at the next door too or not? Yeah.
Not really, but wait. We're laughing around in there.
That's why initially. Yeah, one top there.
Thank you.
Right on. Good to be back. Good luck with that. It'll be good. It'll be good to get out of here.
Is that out to you or something?
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, please, and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll begin with roll call. With us this evening, we have Glenn Bobek, trustee, Jake Grover, trustee, Nicole Novak, trustee, Jude Kuhn, our district clerk, Dr. Brian Graham, superintendent, Ashley Dreyer, president, Sue Marston, vice president, Joy Lamarca, trustee, Robin McCreary, trustee, Cheryl Cardone, assistant superintendent for pupil personnel services, and we have Dr. Ruby Harris, assistant superintendent for business and finance. Just a couple announcements. If you could silence your cell phone, please. We'd appreciate it. And the emergency exits are directly behind me and directly in front of me in case we need to leave unexpectedly. All right, if I could have an approval to for the agenda for this evening, June 21st, 2021, please. And second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 7-0. And moving on, if I could have an approval for the minutes for June 7th, or if I could have a motion to approve the minutes from June 7th, 2021, please. A motion. And the second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 7-0. With us this evening, we have student ambassadors, one from the middle school, Brooke Christensen. Did you want to make an introduction, Mr. Bufamante, or I don't know if anyone
Yes,
wants.
Brooke, thank you. Thank you, President Dreyer. This is John Fitzpatrick. I just want to introduce to everybody one last time, Brooke Christensen, who is one of our stellar 8th grade students who's moving up tomorrow. And thank you so much. She's also the president of the student council. So Brooke, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brooke Christensen, and I am the president of student council at the middle school. This year, we have had to get very creative to put on events to get students involved and having fun. We were able to plan events like Halloween treats for students during lunches, a Valentine's Day sucker sale, a March Madness trivia event, Spirit Weeks, and much more. Even though we've had a lot of fun planning these new events, we are hoping we can get back to some of our regular after-school activities next year. Thank you all so much for your support and time, and I hope you all have a great, happy, and healthy summer, and I hope to see you all again.
Thank you, Brooke. All right, and we have a student ambassador from the senior high school. Do we have someone that is, no?
She canceled that.
She canceled, okay. So that brings us to correspondence, recognition, and good news. We have the Niagara Police Athletic League Art Award winners, Carissa Hoover and Sheila Forbes. I don't know if you're not able to get it. So if you want to just say a word about that, Mr. Loyola?
Yeah, Carissa, if she's available, was gonna log on. I know she had a lacrosse game, so she wasn't sure if she would make it. And I know that Sheila had to work at the art club tonight, so.
And we heard lacrosse one, so yay!
Yes, I just don't know if she
Good
got
job,
home
Carissa.
before she was, yeah.
And lacrosse.
That's congratulations.
Yeah.
So they both were presented with the Police Athletic League Art Award. I know the PAL has been handing out and trying to expand into many of the special areas and trying to recognize students for their diverse talents. They were presented with these awards. Both of them are AP art students here at the high school. and they were presented with these awards at Niagara University. I know they weren't able to attend that ceremony either, but I know Dr. Graham had missed that memo, but he was there, and I know that we're really proud of the kids, and we got to present them to those students in class and take some pictures last week. And both of them are Cindy Wynn's AP Art students, and her, they had submitted their portfolio for AP Art class this year, and they're really proud of all they've accomplished. So, congratulations to both Carissa and Sheila.
Great job. And then we have a 5th grade student, Noah Borzalier, that created some welcome home baskets. Okay,
Sure. Yep, Dr. Plachi, can you do that intro?
Good evening, everyone. I would like to introduce you to Noah Borzalier. Noah, can you come up here with me? And Miss Sino, our school social worker. So Noah, I just wanted to tell you how proud I am of you for successfully organizing the donation drive at Kegabyne. And I'm gonna have Miss Sino say a couple words about your accomplishment, if that's okay with you. Hi, everyone. When I met Noah, he told me that he had a long-term goal of helping solve homelessness. He expressed an interest in donating to people struggling with homelessness when he was older. I asked him why the wait. His response was that he was just a kid. I reassured him that even as a kid, he could reach big goals and make a difference. Together, we discovered Family Promise, a homeless shelter in Buffalo, New York, that aligned with his ideas. We decided to create a donation drive at Kegabyne to collect new household items to give to families exiting the shelter and entering new homes. These are called welcome home baskets. Noah was involved in the planning stage, meeting the executive director, designing posters, putting together the baskets, and even the delivery of the items. His original goal was to achieve 1 basket of items, and by the end of 2 weeks, Kegabyne's faculty and staff were able to collect 5 full baskets. I couldn't be more proud of his hard work, compassion, and determination. My hope for you is that you continue dreaming big, setting goals, and achieving them when you enter the middle school. You are capable of making an impact wherever you go.
Can we get a picture with Noah too, before you go?
Over in front of the table here, we'll have some words and something. Photo and down.
We'll stand behind your kind of squeeze out. Yeah, right in front of that, and then we'll turn right behind you. Over the top of that.
Good. All right, get ready. We'll count down 3, 2, 1. All right, I got it.
So mom and this is this one. Yes.
It shows in her eyes.
Yeah, smile. Yeah.
3, 2. Perfect. Mom, do you want to take a picture too? Or, Mom? You want to take a picture?
Oh, sure.
Just stay there, we're going to take one more picture.
Should be very proud. Great job.
Okay, we did not have anyone sign up for the public comment session, agenda items only. So we'll forge ahead here to curriculum and instruction with a motion to approve curriculum and instruction A, please. And a second? All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. That brings us to personnel instructional. If I could have a motion to approve instructional PI1 and PI2, please.
A motion. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 7-0. Do we have any introductions?
I think we do, yeah. Max, you want to start us off?
Mr. Ross, can I have you stand, please? I'd like to introduce the board to Robert Ross. Mr. Ross will be joining the Youth Road faculty next year as our new physical education teacher. Mr. Ross is a Grand Island graduate. He attended the State University of Brockport, where he received a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education and a Master's of Science in Health Science. For the last 6 years, Mr. Ross has been a physical education teacher at Nichols School in Buffalo, where he was also the head of the physical education department. This was a difficult process, but a very rewarding one for us. I am looking forward to working with Mr. Ross as he joins the Youth Road faculty as we start this next chapter in our physical education. So welcome, Mr. Ross.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, Mr. Ross, stay standing. Where did you go to high school?
Grand Island.
Really?
Yes.
How about middle school?
South Veronica, right over there.
Excellent. And elementary school?
Youth Road.
Youth Road.
Youth
Oh my
Road.
goodness. That's fantastic. Mr. Ross, we're really pleased to welcome you on board. And
Thank you.
I know the phys ed department is equally thrilled, and we're expecting great things. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think we might have another introduction. Denise?
Yes, good evening. I am very proud and excited to introduce to you Lindsay Brazowski. She's on the screen there. Lindsay joined the Sidway family in the fall, first as a building-based substitute. She only got to do that for about 2 weeks before we threw her into being the virtual TA for kindergarten. And she did a tremendous job with that. If you could watch her lessons and listen to her coming out of that little room, the excitement that she shows when she's teaching children is just amazing. And then when all of our kids came back, Lindsay shifted into the short-term sub in the kindergarten position as the virtual teacher. And I just can't say enough about how this young lady is such a natural teacher and is so ready for this career that she's embarking upon. I'm very excited and pleased to welcome Lindsay to Sidway next year as the .8 RTI math person. And she is perfect for this job because while she was earning her degree and her certifications at Buffalo State College, her concentration was in math. So this is right up her alley, and she's fit right in with the Sidway faculty already. So congratulations, Lindsay, and welcome to the Sidway family. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Lindsay, just before we say goodbye, I want to thank you for being a virtual teaching assistant. I believe that was kindergarten or first grade, Denise, remind me.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten, that's right. So Lindsay, how was it teaching kindergartners virtually this year?
There were a lot of challenges that came our way, but I am so proud of my kindergartners. I cannot say enough positive things about them. A lot of times when people ask me what my job was this school year, I say, oh, I was a virtual kindergarten teacher. And the first thing that they say is, oh, that was a lost year for them. But I can honestly say that my kindergartners grew and they learned so much in our classroom. And I am so proud of the gains that they made, and I can't say enough about how persistent they were and their perseverance this school year.
That's great, and we received a wonderful letter on your behalf from some grandparents who were taking care of one of the children that you were teaching, and it was just filled with accolades for the work you were doing virtually. So thank you for that work. And one last thing, I heard you actually scheduled and created a virtual field day for those kids.
I did. We had a lot of fun on field day, and I even got to go outside. They were outside at their houses. We were doing chalk, we were doing jump roping and blowing bubbles together, and of course all virtually, but they had so much fun, and we played games together, and it's amazing what we could do in a virtual setting. We still had fun. They had great friends. They got to talk to each other, so it was really nice to see them play together.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I think that's all for introductions. Yep, thank you very much.
Okay, great. That brings us to personnel non-instructional. If I could have a motion to approve non-instructional PNI 1 and PNI 2, please.
A motion.
And a second? No second. All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 7-0. That brings us to the finance section with Dr. Harris.
I have a couple of things on here for approval and some informational areas. The first item for approval is change orders over 15,000. There is a change order request to revise a water and a sanitary line in the new athletic fields. And this was really something that was just missed in the initial drawings that were put out. This allows the water lines to connect and go through the pole barn, which allows our maintenance staff to clean all of the supplies they're using and not ruin our nice new concession stand. So that is the first item for action. The next item is a long list from our IT department in reference to declaring equipment obsolete. So you will see that as an attachment. There are items such as desktops on here, monitors, laptops, printers, projectors. These things probably go years and years back, and we're just trying to do a clean out as well as clean up our inventory. And then you will see budget transfers over 15,000. The large one on here is payroll to payroll codes. This is to move money into the correct codes. There was a lot of shifts and movements and changes that occurred, whether it be teachers working in different buildings, virtual teachers, and how we were going to account for them. So that is also in here for approval.
Okay, if I could have a motion to approve A through C in finance, please. All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, the next item on here is the Pioneer Award. The school district received this for exceptional creativity and transformative approaches to address challenges and produce a positive impact on the safety and health of employees. This was through PERMA. PERMA handles our workers' comp. There is a picture that is attached, but I actually have the award at my house. I'm not keeping it here. I just brought it home to show it. I'm not keeping it here, I swear. It's very heavy. Once our carpet is done in the district office, we will find it a permanent home there. But we are appreciative for all the things that all of our departments have done to really make sure that safety and security were taken seriously, not only in the areas of slip, trips, and falls, but just normal safety in reference to air purifiers, supplying extra masks, putting up barriers, all those things. And there was a small video. I will share that with the board. I just have to find the link for that, but I will share that with the board and the community. So that was a great thing to be recognized for. And then the last item is budget transfers under 15,000. And that dealt with getting prepared for the new second grade classroom at Hughes, and then moving some title funds around to start purchasing some technology.
Thank you. And congratulations on the award. I think it's great because a safe and healthy work environment for employees is a safe and healthy environment for our students. So that's great. Congratulations, Ruby. Special education pupil personnel services.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. Just a little bit of information first. I will say that at last count for special education summer school, we have a full house. There's over 125 students receiving either special class, CT services, speech, OT, PT, etc. So we do have a full house this year, K to 12. And with that being said, tonight I'm asking you to approve those program recommendations, not only for CSE, but our CPSE students as well, please.
Okay, if we could have a motion to approve services A, please. Motion. In a second. All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for organizing the summer program. I know there's a lot of kiddos that got calls, but from other districts, some of my students, some other students that don't have summer programs because they couldn't hire enough teachers at BOCES. So it's great that you had the foresight to start our own and get the approval to host the summer school program here. Because I know that that's a separate approval process that takes a while, and of course paperwork with state ed and everything else. So it's great that you had the foresight to do that, because a lot of kiddos their parents are getting calls right now that they have no summer program.
Right.
So we're very fortunate to have that here at Grand Island, and also to have a full house. I think that's great. It's a really good service for our students with special needs. So thank you. I know it's a lot of work to put that together.
Great.
Under the superintendent's report.
Thank you. And Cheryl, just to accentuate, what Ashley was just saying, from your perspective, has this been well received by our parents so that the children aren't going off island, that they're staying here on the island for their services in the summer?
Yes, it started a few years ago with grades 6 through 12, and then we expanded it 2 years ago through 2 through 12. We did have a completely full virtual 2 through 12 program last year, and we did expand it K1 this year. So yes, the parents are very happy that the children aren't riding buses all the way to Clarence, Williamsville, wherever else that may be. So we're very excited to host them all here. It's always very well attended as well.
Will there be field trips?
There will be field trips every Friday. Our first one is going to Casey's Cabana.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So in the superintendent report, I just want to provide the board and the community an update, COVID-19 update. And I just think it's important. Cheryl and I were talking about this today. We received a couple memos from the state education department asking us to remind parents to participate in any of the inoculations or vaccine schedule that is provided all children previous to COVID. Cheryl, if you don't mind just jumping in a little bit, I got some good news about that from you today, that we're looking really good as far as our students and parents participating in the normal inoculation process.
So I have to give credit to the nurses for that. They, even through COVID and testing and all of the reporting that they had to do, all of them have kept up on keeping our families informed with the immunizations that the children still needed, whether they were, in school, whether they were hybrid, whether they were virtual, et cetera. And I know they worked very closely with all of our principals too. So I'd like to thank the principals as well, because they were the ones signing letters, helping to remind those parents that we need all those immunizations. When I touched base with the nurses today, we have very, very, very few students that need to have their immunizations as we return back to school in September. So that is very good news. I think we have 2 students at the high school level, and one of them will remain virtual. I don't believe we have any at Sidway, and middle school youth in Kagabine have maybe 1 or 2 students as well. So the nurses and the principals have done a great job with staying on top of this.
Cheryl, I think that's outstanding, because the literature we're receiving from the state education department is saying that this is almost a crisis across the United States. And to hear that Grand Island students and parents are on top of it, that your nurses are on top of it, is really, really good news. So I'm glad that we didn't have to spend a ton of time on it. And I appreciate that parents are, making these appointments and getting the kids ready for next school year as well.
Great.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
So going along those lines, this is just a chart that shows the number of individuals who've received their first vaccine dose in Western New York. That number is over 723,000. And completely vaccinated in Western New York, the number is over 648,000. So that's really good news for the Western New York community. This is just a little graphic that shows that Grand Island High School participated in the second round of vaccines, and that was just on June 17th. And it looked like they were very busy. And 278 individuals came for vaccines on June 17th here at Grand Island High School. And this slide just shows, some of the upcoming opportunities for families to continue becoming vaccinated if they so choose. And there is an opportunity on June 23rd at the City of Tonawanda High School. So lots of opportunities if families want to pursue that. This slide just shows, the board knows that we keep track of the week-to-week net change since last March 2020. The net change in people becoming positive with COVID-19 on the entire island, not just our school district. So you can see that little circled area that it's the lowest it's ever been since we opened in September. So that's really, really good news. And this is a little bit of an older slide as of the 17th, but you can see that the number of new cases in Erie County is minimal. And this shows that it was 6. So that's really good news as well. And this shows what it's like just in Erie County. And again, it's a very, very tiny number of individuals becoming positive in Erie County. So that's all good news for us. And you can see that the hospitalization is gradually, declining, as well as the number of deaths. So that's all good news for our county. Speaking of getting, interested parents to participate in surveys, this is the result of the survey we sent out just to parents. We had 965 parents participate in the survey. You can see that there are 300 parents from Sidway and 200 from Huth and 200 from Kegabyne, 300 from the middle school and 375 from the high school. The first question, regarding asking parents to share with us their perspective. Do they strongly disagree? Do they disagree? Do they agree or strongly agree with the new mandate from the State Department of Health that says that masks are not required to be worn outdoors? You can see if you combine the 4 and 5 categories, which is the agree and strongly agree category, that 95% of the people who participated in the survey agree strongly with kids not having to wear masks outdoors. This slide is asking families, would they have agreed when Dr. Zucker suggested to the CDC that mask use be strongly encouraged but not required when students were indoors? Of the 965 people who responded, people indicating agree or strongly agree equaled 75% of the 965 individuals. And there were 15% of the parents who said that they strongly disagree or disagree with that notion. The next slide is asking parents to project in July if masks were not required for students indoors, how would they respond? And you can see that 76% of the families agree or strongly agree, and 14% strongly disagreed or disagreed in those categories. And then asking about September and projecting out those beliefs in September, you can see that 85% of the families responded that they would agree or strongly agree that masks were optional in September, and 9% indicated that they would strongly disagree or disagree with that. Any questions about the survey? Jude and I worked on a letter to Dr. Zucker today. She is going to, if you didn't already, he already took care of it. So the letter and this data is being sent to Dr. Zucker. So the Department of Health can just hear from Grand Island families and understand their perspective as well. In the same letter, we did ask Dr. Zucker to provide superintendents with guidance for July. And if we're going to host academic summer camps for academic intervention, we really would like that guidance. And we also are wondering if it's a summer camp, it's really not officially summer school. Ashley talked about all the nuances for establishing a real summer school program. This isn't a summer school program. Can we consider it an academic and enrichment camp? And would that allow us to have some options for kids if they so choose? With that said, too, the Erie and Niagara School Superintendents Association is reaching out to the New York State Council of School Superintendents and Bob Lowry to try to get to put pressure to get updated information so that schools know exactly what the guidelines are for these summer academic camps. Any questions about any of that?
So just one question, can you just review this? So if a camp, what would be the requirements or the recommendations?
Yeah, so camps have different rules versus school. So we just we're just asking for clarification, and Jay, I will get you that, and Jude, would you remind me to do that tomorrow, to get the board, the language for summer camps, so we can share that information. We understand there's more flexibility.
More flexibility.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Good. Any other questions about those slides? Okay. So I think that's all for the COVID-19 update, Ashley.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Graham. So first on our agenda for the Board of Education work session is the draft of the meeting dates for 2021, 2022 for everyone to take a look at. So I don't know if you want to if you have any comments on the draft schedules. There are some joint meetings included in here. There's Schedule A, a Draft B, and a Draft C. So there's three different options there of types of schedules. So I don't know if anyone has any comments on the schedules. Looks like the August dates are different from A to B, and C has different dates as well, except for the August 9th is the same on A and C. And then going into September, there are the same dates on all three schedules. So October is pretty much the same. November's a little different between Schedule A, B, Schedule A and B. If you take a look at that.
November 22nd.
The week of Thanksgiving is hold on, let me tell you what day it's on. So I'll tell you in a second. So Thanksgiving is November 25th. Yeah. And then January is slightly different between the schedules. You take between A, B, and C. There's difference in January, difference in February. I think March has different dates for different calendars, but March is similar, but with different dates. And then April, let's see, April looks similar. We avoided, Glenn, you'll be happy to know that on all schedules, we did avoid the Monday night games. So if you look at the schedule that has December 7th, which is a Tuesday, that's because December 6th on a Monday, there is a Bills Monday night game. So we did take that into account for our Bills fans here. You know, I know that's something that has been a thing in the past. So anyway, I know everybody would be here without a doubt, even if it were a Bills game, because that's what's happened in the past. But I think I just wanted to point out. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that could always be December 6th, a Monday, but Tuesday, December 7th is because December 6th, I think people may want to watch the game. So going into May, there's just a slight difference in the schedules. June is the same on all three, and then July is the same for all three. I think the reorg for July has to happen by it's either the 12th or the 19th, the 14th, by July 14th. So we're okay with that July 11th date on all three calendars. Also, there's a date in August that we needed to have an earlier August meeting for. So that date's all right. And then there's also, we looked at, when the budget hearing had to be done by and that sort of thing. So all of those type of dates are taken into account on all three calendars. So regardless of which one you have a preference for, the dates will line up with when we need to have a budget hearing, when we need to have certain things approved, and when we need to have a reorg by. So that's all been taken into account. It's just personal preference. So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on.
I'm not gonna be here, but I think we had discussed prior that we didn't do more than 2 in a month, and that we could always do special meetings if we needed one.
I think the third is always the joint.
Yeah. Right.
I just have one question. I mean, I'm all for not having a second meeting in July, but will there be anything that will need to be approved at that time, Brian? Or, I just, I know we're, yeah. I'm sure we don't know. Okay. I just want to make sure that we're not.
So I did also, just for the board's information, I did also send out the Google Forms that we've used in the past for selecting what your preference is. So you can just select whether you like A, B, or C too. If you want to do it that way, ready to send an email to all of you to fill out a Google form just to get an idea of what everybody thought. But I thought we could open up now if anybody has any other thoughts.
I would just say, as I always do, that we only did one meeting a month, we did something like, and for all of us here that work all day long, it was long, and we find ourselves making these major decisions at 11:30 p.m. So that's just my opinion. I'm short. We added, I'm sorry. Okay. I am done talking.
That's a good point, Sue. Do you have, that's a good point. Any data?
Right. And was that?
Well, no, October.
Okay. And then we did.
Oh, no, it's just, it's a couple.
Yeah.
We did put workshops on all of the meetings so that we're having presentations.
No, sorry. No. Sue made a good point about the minutes, and I think about the length of the meeting. So we're just seeing if we had any data on that to send out to the board, because I think that's an excellent point. So Jude has offered to send that out so that you know how long this year each of our meetings were. So,
right, and I just also want to say, when Ashley and I talked at our agenda prep, we did add a workshop into every meeting, so it's not every other meeting that we're having presentations from administration, which will be nice because we'll be able to actually schedule more and give them the time they need, and also keep it so we're not having one short meeting, one long meeting, one short meeting, one long meeting. So I don't know if anybody noticed that we did switch that.
yeah.
But I'm a proponent for doing that.
We didn't want to have people feel rushed in their presentations, and that will give everyone time to be able to say everything they need to say and present what they need to present, and also try to do it in a way that will allow us to give input and give feedback, because I think that's important, rather than just taking it all in, that if we have something to add or comments to make, that we have the ability to do that. That's to be part of the workshop. So none of these drafts are set in stone. This is just to give us a jumping off point, kind of to talk about things or to make it easier to create a schedule. So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on ABC or want to say anything else.
Added one in February. Except for July.
No, there's 2 in February for draft C and draft B.
Draft A would be perfect for you if you had another one in February.
Oh.
Okay, B's out. Yeah.
Okay, B's out.
B is a whole lot.
Okay.
I like Robin's idea.
I just want to say with D, they're only having one meeting a month, and the ones that
With
are.
B has B
Yeah, well, I just meant, if you look at, so what I wanna say is in A and C, we're only having one meeting a month, the other meeting is a joint town board meeting, that may or may not happen. So, that's why there seems to be three. And,
I see what you're saying.
you know, I mean, the ones that have more is because we're adding a joint town board meeting on.
Also, the joint town meetings, you'll notice that there are, I thought there were three, yes, I counted three in Schedule B. There's 2 joint meetings in Schedule C. And Schedule A, I believe there's 2 joint meetings, there's 3 in B. So I don't know if that's a consideration that people want to look at. I just wanted to point, I noticed there's 2 and then 3.
Looks good, so we still only meet with them twice a year.
Yes.
One in the winter, one in the summer.
So, and Jude will call just to make sure that these dates work for them, and but if you want to, if there's no other comments, you could always go to you can do the Google form online too, and just respond to that email. That would be great. Unless there's other commentary or things to think about with the schedules, if there's something missing too in any of the drafts.
I'm just thinking, we're just looking through, so if we throw out B, there's only one meeting in October, November, December, January, and July, and February, except if you go on to C. So that's a lot of one-night meetings, and I'm telling you, you're here. It gets crazy.
I
So-
can't even hold it
Yeah.
Is there a way that, I mean, I'm sure the minutes are on file. I just don't have it with me, but. Oh, yeah.
These are super,
Yeah. But they said, like any sort of, normally they're like 45 minutes to an hour, usually.
I mean, I would have to guess this would be the worst year ever in terms of something happening, because this has been a historic year in and of itself, being a pandemic. I just can't foresee anything that would impact parents in the community the way that this year has. This has been a really difficult year for parents with the hybrid model, with just masks. I mean, all the different issues that have come up. So if we look at our meeting length this year.
Right, what I can do is get 2019, 2020, and then 2020, 2021, and get those, the
But are you
lengths.
able to look at meeting length back when we had single meetings, it was back under our prior supervision?
Oh, 6 years.
We did.
I don't.
You know what else I
don't
can do
remember. I
is
just-
give everybody the list of calendars over the past like 5, 6 years if you'd like to take a look at it too.
I think if you can find one that had just one meeting a month and what the times were for that year, going back, I don't remember that being so much the case since I've been on the board, but if you go back a lot of years, maybe you could find that information and compare it to our last couple of years.
I will also state that our workshops that we're taking from already have 4 and 5 listed. So I would, and there's a lot, we're gonna get back to running the school district and not living through a pandemic. And I really think that with the workshops that we have already on our plate that we didn't get to in the school year, that are gonna roll forward, I just really think we have a lot of work to do, getting back to what we do as kids.
Yeah,
And that's just my opinion, it's, when you're here late and our principals are here late and our administrators are here late at 10 o'clock and we're presenting, it's rough. And it's really not fair on everybody that has to get up and go back to work in the morning.
yeah, I look at the Schedule B, and maybe we change July, or even July and August, and take those 2 meetings. Only have 1 meeting in July and 1 in August.
Right.
But other than that, I think that's the best schedule.
I think a late August would be important. And
Yeah.
go back to Brandon because
who knows what guidance at that point, hoping it's all normal, but.
Ruby, what is the date in August that we need to certify the tax? There was something with taxes.
It's gonna be around August, between the dates of like August 10th and August 13th is usually where it falls. This past year, maybe we called a special meeting, or it was the year before that we called a special meeting for that. And it really is only a couple of minutes. So if it decides to be a special meeting, that's fine.
Yeah, why don't we keep it on the schedule and then have it be a scheduled special meeting? And then we know it's gonna happen and we come in, and if there's other things to address, we can. If there's not, then we off we go.
I don't know if you want to call it a special meeting or just a Board of Education meeting, but we would need to have something between like the 9th or before the 13th. But the July, like if we had a July 19th meeting, that would be too early, right? That would be too early to certify or too early to vote on that.
Yes, because the information I receive is from the assessor and from Erie County. I would love for it to move quickly, and if it does, I can always share that with you and put it on that earlier meeting, but it just hasn't flowed that way.
Okay. So we'll probably need to have an earlier August meeting and a later August meeting. I'm thinking later August meeting for hiring and things like that, Dr. Graham. So we probably do have to have two in August for that.
Sophie dropped the July 19th date and adjust the August dates.
July 19th, the youth was home.
Yeah, July 19th. I mean,
So, yeah, I would take that one off.
So that would.
I don't know if you want to, everyone wants to, do you want to vote on these and then make comments on your emails with what, but if so we're hiring a high school principal, correct? So if we have that approval by the July 6th meeting, otherwise we'd have to do something.
Sure, right, Brian? The timeline?
Yeah, I think Cheryl, the timeline should get us right to
Yes.
using the reorg board meeting as a date to hire the new principal.
Absolutely, that's the plan.
Okay. All right, and regardless of the schedule, am I hearing that August we want 1 or 2 meetings, regardless of which one is selected? The majority,
It sounds like we have to have one for hiring one, I mean, the one.
We should would have one at the end of the
second
month.
one for.
Yeah. One at the end of the month and one when we needed to adopt.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so we need 2 in August, no matter what. Okay.
And the one will be short,
Correct.
like 1 minutes.
So, any other thoughts on ABC before we fill out our Google forms or? I think, before you fill out the forms to wait for Jude's email, just so that you have that data to base, your thoughts on as well. I think what I heard was if you select draft B, you wanted to remove Glenn, was it the July 19th meeting? Is that what I heard? Did you say that?
I think the thought would be to adopt these with taking out the July, the
19th?
late July meeting.
Okay.
And
So-
do an August meeting.
So as, they all have 2, but as you look at the schedules, when you go on your Google Forms, picture July 19th not there on schedule B, or I can just reset, so if you cross out on B, July 19th, then, schedule A, B, and C for July and August are pretty much the same, with just the exception of the August dates. But the dates all work for the certification for Dr. Harris.
Well, and I always ask every year, to be prepared, are we on the right weeks opposite of the town board? Also, we've always been respectful, not to pick the same, and we do have a few that overlap, I mean, it's obviously, there's one of the ones where they overlap, but they're usually the first and third or second forward. I would just like to make sure that we do that so that our community can attend the meetings if need be. You can look through, I
Yeah,
don't care
I
what the
can look
dates are, I just
through
wanna make sure that we've checked, to make sure we're not conflicting with the town board.
So we will look through that, I'll make a note of that,
It's just.
and we can adjust any dates that conflict with the town meetings.
Yeah, I mean, there's always months where we have to, but typically we've always gone opposite weeks.
Great, anything else? Okay, so that is, topic number one, the draft Board of Education meeting dates, and we'll wait for Jude's email before we fill out our Google Forms, and, just note on your draft B that July 19th, we took that off. And I will also email out, any conflicts, with the town meetings on any of these schedules, just so that you're aware, and if we can change it, we will. Make changes, pending drafts. Yeah, and hopefully it's just the April that we would need to look at. The next thing we wanted to talk about was discussing the families who left the district and surveying them to see who may return. We want to make sure that as we prepare for the next school year, that our class sizes are reasonable and low enough that every child has the opportunity to achieve their full potential. And I know that we had a number of families leave the district for St. Stephen's. They were open 5 days a week, and we just want to make sure that we know who's coming back, so that we aren't sitting here in August saying, oh my gosh, we have to hire people, and hope that there's people left to hire, because with all the federal dollars, there certainly are a lot of postings out there. So thinking of that, is there a way to contact those families, and then what are the sorts of questions that the board would want to ask, just to be sure we know whether they're coming back or not?
Sure. So Robin Kwiatek is working on this. She's looking at the database of families that were with us in the 2019-2020 school year. She's going to call out those families who left us, whether they went to homeschooling or a private or parochial school. And then she will then be able to have a new database of families we can survey. And then we will send out a survey in a very, respectful way of, asking parents if they want to continue on the path that they're currently on, whether it's homeschooling or private parochial, or if they would like to re-enroll in our school district.
So one of the things, just for our purposes in planning, could we make sure we include what grade will your child be entering in the 2021, 2022 school year, just so you know the grade level. I'm trying to think of what other questions I might ask. Does anyone have any thoughts about questions that we would want to know? User Gigabyte, that's a good, yep. So User Gigabyte.
We'll do that. I can even send the draft survey out to the board to take a look.
Oh, okay. And then, grade level, and then also if there's more than one child, there has to be a way for them to count for any and all children that would be re-entering the district, just to prepare, so that we are fully prepared for the fall.
Good idea. And just for the board's, another look, you've seen this chart in many of our budget presentations, but just taking a look. Remember, Sidway, we're expecting 220 kindergartners. Right now, we're at about 190. Of the 190, not everybody's officially registered, so we have some applications that still need to be processed and some appointments. But the 220 number is still a good goal. We think we'll get more families throughout the summer that register for kindergarten to take it from 190 to 220. And then in first grade, we're expecting 192 first graders, so you can see the class sizes at 20 and 19 for Sidway over in this area. And then this is youth. We currently are expecting 121 second graders divided by 5 teachers with class sizes at 24. This hasn't changed since you looked at this in the budget presentation, but we're going to look at this very carefully, and if we see this number growing, we can use federal dollars, not, remember, we already established our budget, so we can use federal dollars to support the hiring of a second grade teacher if need be. Right now, class sizes are set at 24. Joey, were you gonna say something? No, okay. And then third grade, we have 75 third graders with 4 teachers at class sizes of 18, 108 with 5 teachers at class sizes of 21, and then 87 for fifth grade, 4 teachers at class size of 21 at Heath. And then at Kegaline, you can see we have 83, 89, 89, and 92 for grades 2 through 5, with 4 teachers in class sizes of 20, 22, 22, and 20.
You can refresh my memory. When the second graders started kindergarten, there was an unanticipated increase in what we originally. I don't remember. Did we hire?
I think what we did is we took an academic intervention teacher and made them a classroom teacher. And we did not replace the academic intervention. So we stayed within our budget. In this case, what we're saying is we would more than likely hire a new teacher, and that would be through federal dollars. That would be a full-time, 5-day-a-week teacher.
Because it's concerning now at 24, and then if the survey comes,
Mhm.
and more children.
Yeah, it'll be, it's a good idea, the survey, to see what their intention is.
Yeah. To get that.
And then we can hire before the letters go home of the teacher and that sort of thing. That would be, so we'll also know when we're looking at the numbers that are at 22, are those gonna go up above 24, 25,
Yeah, is there a certain number we're looking at that would be like a cutoff?
Well, I think if you look at the class size guidelines by the district, in kindergarten, it's 25. We've always stayed within the 20 range. At first grade through fifth grade, you can see the class size guidelines are 29 is pretty high, especially coming out of COVID.
Sure.
So we see the value in providing more support for that class, those classes. So we definitely want to look at the data too. I mean, it isn't unusual to have class sizes of 24 in other districts, but with that said, we also want to take into account children who, need extra help. And, can we provide it using those federal dollars?
do we know how many students total left the district? A number or percentage, or how many surveys would go out about it? So what was it, 200 families or 100? No idea.
I think we had 30 more families go to homeschooling than typical. So I think it went from like 60 to 90. It could be higher than 90, but I can always check that number.
Right.
And then I believe in some of our budget presentations, I did have a chart that showed the number of children that that may have gone to St. Stephen's or some other parochials. I don't recall it, but we did show it during the budget presentation.
All right, so we'll make sure we see a draft of that then, and it will be sent out soon. And then if anyone, once you see the draft, has any input, you can let Dr. Graham know, unless there's anything else now to think about. All right, great, thanks. So that brings us then to the public comment session for general items not included in the agenda. We did not have anyone sign up for that. So now we're on to committee of the whole items and information for the roundtable. Everyone fine?
I got nothing. Just one final congratulations to all our retirees, and we wish you the best in your future endeavors.
Sorry, Jay, I have to go back. I just wanted Dr. Graham to go over very quickly the end of the year events, because I know we just finalized our part. Parents attending 8th grade moving up tomorrow. Parents are allowed to attend. So if we could just run down that list very quickly for us.
Sure. So as you know, the state has made lots of pivots and changes throughout the school year. One thing that was a positive change that we received late last week was the change in the end of year celebrations and graduations for schools. And so you can see that the state's health guidelines now, we're including social gathering limits, capacity, restrictions, social distancing, cleaning and disinfecting, and health screening, and contact information for tracing became optional for all industries, including pre-K to 12 education for end-of-year events. This was big news, and our principals at Hugh and the middle school and our graduation, high school graduation, all took into account this greater flexibility and have made adaptations for those end-of-year celebrations. Unfortunately for Sidway and Kegabine, we were already either past those celebrations or the celebrations had just concluded when we were able to review this data. So you can see though, it says provided, however, there are two expectations that continue to apply. And the first one is masks are still required to be worn for unvaccinated individuals pursuant to the guidelines. So we just ask our families, on the honor system to wear a mask if they're unvaccinated. And then everybody else who came today for the youth moving up day, it was on their honor system if they were vaccinated. If they didn't wear masks, we did have some families wearing masks in the auditorium today. Any other questions about that?
Are there limits to the number of family members that can attend tomorrow's 8th grade moving up, and then high school graduation? You just review that. And then is there another one? So there's 8th grade moving up, high school graduation.
Yep, those are the two big ones that are left.
Okay.
So the moving up day ceremony for middle school is going to be just as it was pre-COVID. The students will be sitting on the stage, so we'll have the capacity of welcoming 800 family members. So I'm not sure if John Fitzpatrick, had made an indication that 2 or 3, but
Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Hi.
John, is it 2 or 3, did you say, for families?
No, there's no limit. We just ask that families that limit themselves to only bringing parents or guardians. We didn't set a limit at all, and we just want, if we can, the parents or guardians to be able to attend, because it will be live streamed still.
Yep. So with 200.
So grandparents, it's like live stream for grandparents and things like that. And you are asking that just the parents or guardians.
Sure, it's like the honor system as well. We didn't make that was not stated in the letter. It just, we asked that families do their own limiting so that only the parents or guardians might attend, so that everyone who has a child can attend. No one standing in the back or waiting outside.
So a child that has, mom and dad might be divorced and they have a stepfather and a stepmother, everybody's welcome.
That's right.
With their situation. Yeah. So with 200, how many 8th graders do you have? 213?
218.
18. So you imagine, if they all bring 2, then you have 400 in the auditorium. If they bring 3, it's 600. If they bring 4, it's 800, and that's really our capacity in the auditorium.
Okay, thank you. And Art Park,
Art Park,
graduation, 10 a.m.
Mr. Laurie, I know we have, I think, seating for almost 1,000 people.
Yeah, I believe it's 1,100 to 1,150 right now. So every family was given, I believe, 4 tickets in the beginning, including the graduate. So that one of those tickets was for the graduate ticket to get in. So since we talked to them, they haven't added our capacity necessarily, because if you look at the other schools who were attending, Wilson and Newport, they are much smaller, significantly smaller schools. And the setup that relative to the number of chairs that they rented stayed the same. So we did have the ability to have a few more. She really pushed the envelope for us in terms of the number of people. So we had Mrs. Chamberlain send out a survey to any different families of graduates to ask, to request additional tickets if they needed one, and she closed that survey and was able to accommodate all the requests. And she was still able to walk through, I think, this weekend, accommodate a couple extra requests, but as of this point, I think they're pretty close to capacity.
That's great. Mr. Laurie, do you have tickets for the board members tonight?
Yeah.
I believe that Jude dropped off their tickets for each of you.
Excellent. That's great.
We hope to see everybody there. And one thing you will need to let us know is if you're hoping to all sit on stage as a board. So we may want to have a little conversation about that. The stage itself is covered, unfortunately, and the whole venue is not covered, so we're watching the weather carefully.
There is a chance for rain. I know this.
I believe like there's only 3 of us that will be there, so I don't know if that plays into where you want to press us.
Usually we say as long as there's enough room for what you need to do with the students first, then we would love to have the board sit on stage if there's room based on student needs.
We don't want to take the chair first.
There will be room.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be room.
We definitely don't want to take the chair with you.
Right, exactly. Okay, so now we're ready for our committee of the whole, so with Nicole. We're appointing Nicole.
Jude. Robin, it's been great working with you for the last 3 years. This is your last meeting today. I just wish you the best for you and your son, and stop by sometime. Sure.
Thank you, Robin. Don't be a stranger. We love working with you and all of your ideas and input, and this, can't say thanks enough, but thank you. It's a thankless job often, but we are saying thank you for volunteering and thank you for giving your time. We know that you're so busy with everything that you do, so we appreciate all the time that you've dedicated to this position. And then I just wanted to say congratulations to the varsity lacrosse team on their sectional win. We had a sectional win this evening, so congratulations to them, and softball as well. Grand Island is on fire. Athletics, yes.
Girls.
And yeah, the
Champs.
sectional champs for the track and field girls. Track and field. Awesome. And baseball is winning. We are on a roll, Grand Island. Congratulations to all of our student athletes. We're very proud of y'all. That brings us to Sue.
Robin, it's been a pleasure. I know I will see you. Our sons are in the same grade, so we're kind of stuck there for another 4 years as they enter the high school, so thank you. We'll celebrate you after. Mrs. Dunbar, it has been a pleasure. I believe this is your last Monday night with us. Started with PJ in kindergarten, member of your PTA. It's been great working with you, and enjoy your well-deserved retirement. And I just want to say there is a golf tournament July 19th. We are looking for golfers, sponsors, baskets, anything you can do for this whole organization that gives scholarships to our students. So, Robin is just committed to being there?
But we know it's in.
All right, perfect. That's all I have.
Robin, I just want to thank you for your service, and I'm going to miss the little conversations when I have my coffee. And you whisper to me, your coffee smells so good, I wish I could have some. For the past 3 years. I just don't know how she drank coffee that late at night. I'm working all day and then coming to the meeting. And I do want to thank Mrs. Dunbar also. Just everything exceptional. And Olivia will miss you. She was very excited, and she was very happy to wear yellow the other day because it was Mrs. Dunbar's favorite color. So thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Look to Robin, I totally forgot. Karen, are you on there? Yeah. We would like to say thank you for your years of service as well. We will miss you. Enjoy your retirement.
Yep. Karen, can you say hello? I think you're still on.
I'm there. Thank you very much. I was honored to be a part of this. Thank you very much.
Got excited about the golf tournament.
Yes, congratulations for you both on your retirement. Mrs. Dunbar, I know you've been a special person for many people that have come to our school district. My son included. 3 years ago, I had a handful of friends come to me and say, we know that you step up for your community. Would you like to join the board? It's only one day. It's only 2 Mondays a month. Every other Monday. Not much. And then you join. There's committees and events, and I'm glad I did it. It was a lot of work, and it can be thankless, but there's thanks in the work, that you know you're doing the right thing. And we have a board member coming in, you're in good hands. I don't think, I would wish anybody else on it. This is an amazing group of people to work with. You're gonna love it. The information, what I learned about myself and about a school district, what it takes to run it, I commend those of you who have been here more than 3 years. But I'm stepping back to take care of my son and to build my business. And then hopefully I can support my community in that way. Thank you.
Yep, Robin, I just also want to thank you for your years of service, the amount of hours and time and energy that you did voluntarily to commit to our school and our students and our parents is outstanding. So thank you for everything that you have provided all of us. And your perspective also as an art teacher was especially important throughout many of our meetings.
I know I turned your face right a couple times.
And Karen and Denise, we're really going to miss all of your years of service, your wisdom and support of all of our students. Karen, I don't know how we're going to replace you. You have a very lovely personality that is very direct and honest with parents, and it's been an absolute honor working with you. And Denise, I can't say enough of everything that you've done for the Sidway family. So all the best into retirement, and we wish you all well. And that's all that I have for you today. Thank you.
Okay, just a couple of dates before we adjourn. June 27th is the Grand Island Senior High School graduation at Art Park at 10 a.m. July 6th is the reorg meeting at 7 p.m. Immediately following will be a board meeting. So if I could have a motion to adjourn at 8:44 p.m.
I will motion.
I will second.
All in favor? Aye. Any objections? Any abstentions? Motion carried 7-0. Thank you. Good night, everyone.